Have you ever met someone who likes to sit back, observe, doesn't speak much, but when they do speak, their ideas are powerful and people listen? Have you ever wondered how some people are able to judge someone else's character from a single interaction? Have you ever met someone that's so good at reading other people that it's kind of scary? Well, a psychiatrist can do all three. Psychiatrists are doctors that are specialists of the mind. They are experts in human behaviour and mental health. My name's Anthony and I'm a 4th year medical student. And being a medical student, I had the rare opportunity to work side by side with a consultant psychiatrist for 8 weeks. I learned that on top of their extensive medical knowledge, there was an insane amount of wisdom as well. He taught me some life-changing lessons and shared some golden nuggets of information that fundamentally changed the way I think. And I would like to share them with you guys too. The first thing I learned was that when you fear something, that's your sign to do it. That's your sign to take action. Fear is a sign of stepping outside of your comfort zone. And comfort is something we want to avoid at all costs. Comfort is a stagnation of growth. He said we tend to avoid setting ambitious or hard goals because we like to feel like that we're in control. What if I start this YouTube channel and it completely fails? What's everyone gonna think? What if I work so hard at medicine and I get terrible grades? What if I work so hard in the gym and I see no difference to my body? We think, let's not do anything that's hard because then we can never fail. There's also that fear of putting ourselves out there and the fear of being judged and disliked by others. People, random strangers. But I was reminded that true freedom doesn't come from achievements, medals, trophies. It comes from having the courage to be disliked and to be your true, authentic self. What does it matter what you can achieve if all you're doing is being fake? And you know that deep down, you know that you're being fake. Trying to please others all the time is tiring. And when you try and please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. So start that club, start that hobby, share yourself with others, share what you believe in on social media. For a student at university, there's endless opportunities in terms of societies. There's no better opportunity than now to start. Confront your fears head on. Once you do that thing, it will become way easier the next time. And that's how you grow. Ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? Write down all the things that could happen, all the potential outcomes that could happen if you do the thing. And then think about the likelihood of those things actually happening compared to the amount of good things you could get. Weigh up the pros and cons. And I think 99% of the time, you'll realize that the things that you're scared about, firstly, they're very unlikely to happen. But if they do, it doesn't really matter that much. It's not really that deep. But the potential upside, potential benefits you can get are 10 times more powerful. So hopefully that will spur you on to start. Famous philosopher from ancient Rome, Seneca, said, "Remember, we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality." And it's so true. The worst case scenarios in your head that you think about, that makes you more anxious than the actual thing itself. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. The second lesson I learned was to be ambitious at all costs. Be ambitious now or look back with regret. Time flies. Make sure that the actions you're taking on a daily basis are serving you and helping you in the direction of your goals. Always dream big. And hear me out on this, because it seems like I'm your primary school teacher when you're like 6 years old telling you, oh, dream big, reach for the stars. Here's why you should set unrealistic goals. Have you ever spoken to a teacher, you're like, oh, I want to be this, and they're like, be realistic. Or you speak to your parents and they're like, be realistic for 1 second. Realistic goals are often harder in a weird way. And hear me out, okay? Hear me out. The level of competition for a realistic goal is way higher than for an unrealistic goal, making them more time and energy consuming. Because 99% of people will not believe that they can achieve such unrealistic goals. And so they'll aim for something in the middle. They'll aim for something average. And they'll think, oh, I'm gonna go for this average goal because there's a way better chance of me actually fulfilling and achieving that goal. People aim for average because they doubt their ability to achieve great. Realistic goals are also often very uninspiring. They don't fill you with a lot of motivation. They don't fill you with that fire in your belly to achieve it. And therefore, with a lot of unrealistic goals, when people hit the first or second hurdle, inevitably gonna give up. On the other hand, unusually large goals, ambitious goals, give us that determination to overcome those inevitable trials that we're going to face. Basically, we're way more likely to put our all into it. And sometimes setting big, ambitious goals just acts as a distant point in the future, a distant marker. It might not even necessarily be achieved. That's not the main point. The point is not to necessarily achieve the goal, but having that goal there, having that to drive us, to make sure that all our actions of today are aligned with our goals, will mean we're a lot more likely to reach it, or at least get close to it. There's a quote by Jordan Peterson, which I think is quite a good way to sum up life as a student, if you're not ambitious. He said that uni can easily be a credible excuse to adopt an identity of upward striving for 4 years away from your parents. And that really stuck with me. I heard of that a couple months ago and it really stuck with me. Uni can easily be just a place where you make great friends. And that's so important. Making great friends is great. But really, if you're not ambitious and use your time well, it's essentially just an opportunity to adopt kind of a fake identity. Okay, so the third point is to be conscious of everything that you consume, and that we as humans are easily influenced subconsciously without us even knowing. We're constantly downloading data in our brain from our surroundings. We're constantly taking things in that we don't even realize. Often when we make decisions, we like to think that we came to some sort of objective, balanced decision that we weighed the pros and cons for. But actually, often we make decisions before we even realize it, based on all our preconceptions and all of our prejudices and all of our information that we've taken from parents, family, friends. And so what we need to do is become more conscious of what we're consuming and becoming more self-aware of whether what we consume is having a positive or negative effect on us. Is it energizing us or is it draining us? Is it a valuable use of our time? He said that one of the greatest addictions in the world right now is consumption, especially of social media. In the new digital era, mindless scrolling of social media is becoming so common. Attention spans are being fried. Quick, short bursts of dopamine hits from liking posts, hearing the little bell or buzzer of notification. These quick, short bursts of dopamine are acting as negative feedback mechanisms. It's signaling to our brain that, oh, okay, that is something I should do. I should keep doing that. But the danger of quick dopamine, it can affect your ambition. It can affect your drive to achieve long-term goals, tasks that require a lot of time and dedication, because there isn't that same feedback mechanism for them. There isn't that same quick burst of dopamine when it comes to doing well in your exams or reaching, certain standard on YouTube. Social media companies literally spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year in order to try and buy our attention. Attention is the new currency in the digital world. So be conscious of that. Don't let them control your mind. Take back control of your mind and be conscious of what you consume. Finally, but not least, never stop learning and asking why. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Push your brain as if it was a muscle. At the gym, you progressively overload your muscles so that they grow. Push your brain the same. You're literally forming new neural connections and growing your brain. But at the same time, you're also preventing very real health conditions and you're protecting your health. There's a link between social isolation and dementia. The reason is because of the lack of communication, the lack of using your brain, the lack of learning means that your brain will slowly become less functional. Don't be afraid of making mistakes when you learn. Ask questions and adopt a growth mindset. The mindset that the more mistakes I make, firstly, I won't make those mistakes again, and also the closer I am to achieving something great. Experts in their field are the people that have made the most mistakes. The reason they are experts, the reason we become experts at anything is because we've made 1,000 mistakes already. We were once in a ward round, which is where we see the patients one by one. Once, me and my partner, we were very, very quiet that day. We just didn't really say anything. The psychiatrist told me, ask questions. He said, the man who asks a question is a fool for a minute, but the man who does not ask is a fool his entire life. And that was like pretty powerful stuff. Again, if I don't know something and I don't ask about it, then what an idiot. Like, I'm such an idiot. If you have a question in class, probably 99% of the other people in the class also are afraid of asking that question. But just do it. Like, again, what's the worst that can happen? Never stop learning. Always, educate yourself daily. read books, read articles online, listen to podcasts, find people older and more wise than you, find people that inspire you and reach out to them. Send out cold emails to people that inspire you. If you want to learn at a sport or a hobby, get a coach. If you want to get better at the gym and you've tried everything, then get a personal trainer. Invest in your education. You never know what kind of opportunities that investment in your education could bring in the future. Things way more valuable than the initial investment. Alright, so I hope these lessons will stick with you like they have for me. When I look back at anything that I've done in the past that I'm really proud of, that I'm happy to share with other people, I realised that these lessons were actually being applied without me even realising, by accident. Self-awareness is key to everything, and being fully aware of these things will make it 100 times more likely for you to put it into practice, as opposed to slowly being filtered out of your brain and being an idea that you forget about. All that's left to say is, God bless, and let's win together.